Hello, you guys. God bless you. Last time I left you, last time we were talking, communicating, I was talking about how God would bring deliverance from unusual sources, and how that when this place called Cherith, this place of covenant, this place of sometimes of pain, where God commanded the ravens as Elijah hid there to sustain him, how the water, the brook dried up. And the word of the Lord came to him and said, I want you to go down to Zarephath. I've commanded a widow to sustain you. Well, when you think about where Zarephath is out of Elijah's comfort zone. Sometimes you've got to get out of your comfort zone to see the provision of God. And Zarephath was in enemy territory. One thing about Cherith, it was close to where Elijah was from. He might have been hiding out there, but it was familiar territory. And Zarephath was completely out of his comfort zone. It was in a pagan land. It was in a land that served pagan gods. Israel, even though they were backslidden, was a place that had been raised up by God Almighty. And it was a place that even in their worst times, there was people there that served the Lord. But here in Zarephath, it was a pagan place. And God sent him. The word of the Lord came to Elijah, and he said, I want you to go down to Zarephath. And I can imagine if it hadn't been for the brook drying up and this uncomfortable circumstance, Elijah probably wouldn't have went. And so he ends up down there, and there's a widow woman, and she's gathering sticks, and she's going to cook the last bit of meal and oil that she has. And then she said, we're going to die. Me and my son are going to die. We have nothing else to eat. And Elijah said, first, cook me something. Man, Elijah had to hear the word of the Lord to make that demand upon this widow woman. But that widow woman, when she obeyed the man of God, that activated God to where he could move in her behalf. And Elijah said, your food source won't end up, it won't fail until it rains again. You know, the famine came because of the lack of rain. And this was God caused it at the word of Elijah. So I want you to know that sometimes God will send you to uncomfortable places, but as long as he's sending you there, he's going to sustain you. It might be a widow woman. He might have to create a miracle in order to do it. Zarephath was a refinery. The word Zarephath means a refinery. And Zarephath is where God turned up the heat on Elijah. And Elijah's responsibilities increased at Zarephath. He wasn't just responsible for himself any longer. He was responsible for the widow woman and her son. And he had to convince them that he was a man of God. And pretty big stuff that happens at Zarephath. If the heat is on in your life today, look for the voice of the Lord. Look for unusual sustenance from unusual places. God bless you.